Howdy, this is Geordie Prepper, and I just thought I'd do an episode because I've received my first BBC TV license in Threatagram through the mail today. And obviously, if you've subscribed to my channel and you know for a while, I've covered this subject before. It's BBC TV licensing I've covered because they are like persistent with their threats and their mail that they send you, simply because you don't partake in their company, you don't buy their product from them. And this is really a persistent problem throughout this country, Great Britain. They just send you letter after letter after letter, and they have people coming and turning up at your doorstep without an invitation. So I've covered it in the past, but I thought I'd really go into depth on the letters and that I've received today. And I'll just talk, about peaceful non-compliance, which is what I personally do. And I think peaceful non-compliance is a really powerful weapon. The only thing which gives the system that we're forced to deal with on a day-to-day basis, the only thing that gives it its legitimacy is the fact that we allow it to persist. So if you don't comply with the system, that's unlawful, which it is, where we're forced to comply with corporate law under threat, under verbal threat, written threat, and increasingly physical threat to your individuality. They do threaten you with physical violence, really, because if they say in a lot of their literature, that you'll be dragged to court, arrested, these are all things that are physical, and you have a right to defend yourself. If you do get a letter from someone and they threaten you, then if they've got the guts to put their address on the letter that you can send a reply back to, then obviously you can do that. So let's break this letter down and let's just go through what we can do to non-comply with it. If you are getting these letters and it says to the legal occupier, then you're already doing something right, because they don't know your straw man's name. They don't know the name that you represent. So obviously we've got the TV licensing logo over here on the top right. It has a reference, so they encourage you to ring up or to write back to them or to do things online to engage with them. So they do have a reference on there, which is what you'll give you. And that basically just identifies the property. It doesn't identify you because they don't know who I am or who I go by. But they'll give you a reference so they can identify the property. January 2018, obviously, this is current month and year. So then we get here onto the body text of the letter. Investigating enforcement officers visit homes in your area. Immediately, very threatening, intimidating language that's being used. If you're being investigated, then clearly there's an insinuation that you're doing something wrong. Officers, again, the word officer is used far too much nowadays to describe anything where it's talking about someone who's going to make you do it. So with the BBC TV licensing, someone may come to your door and, immediately that's to instill submission in you, and it's to make you recognize some sort of authority, that is someone who's got authority against you. As there is no record of a TV license at your address, we have authorized an enforcement visit. Again, the TV license, they're more bothered about the address having it. It's not really to do with the individual who's there, because, they just want the address to have it. And without your name, they can write to the address. And then obviously people, if you engage with the BBC and you give them your name, then you're on their database. And, from then forth, it's pretty hard to get rid of them. We have authorized an enforcement visit. Well, they don't have the right to authorize anything. It's just simply more threatening, intimidation there. Enforcement visit, they're going to force you to do it. And any system which is laid upon you with the threat of any sort of physical force, or if they're going to make you do something that you don't want to, then, you know, to me, that system, or something that's within a system, loses all legitimacy, loses all credibility, and loses all, you know, lawful backing. Simply what they're saying there is that they're going to send someone round, but in reality, whoever knocks at your door, they can't force you to do anything, and the only thing that gives them any real power is your compliance, you know, with them, or what they get you to do, such as sign any documentation, give them any details. It is a criminal offence to watch or record live TV programmes on any channel or device, or download or watch BBC programmes on iPlayer without being covered by a TV licence. First of all, it's not a criminal offence to watch or record live TV. England is a common law land. Basically, if you're doing no harm or no loss to anyone, then you're not committing a criminal offence, basically. To say that watching television is a criminal offence, you know, I mean, it's extremely petty. And, you know, to spend the amount of time and effort that this organisation does to try and get you to comply with buying a TV licence from them is very disproportionate. This could result in prosecution. Well, no, it won't. And a fine of up to £1,000. Again, another document which forms the British Constitution is the British Bill of Rights, 1689. In that, there's an article in there which states that you can't be fined until you've been convicted of a criminal offence. So, unless you've been actually convicted of a crime, you know, watching TV isn't a crime, then you can't be fined. And that goes for anything. Any document which threatens you with a fine in England is unlawful, because the British Bill of Rights basically protects you in that regard. So any document which says fine on it, it's not a fine. We visited 10,101 homes a day last year, and there's obviously an asterisk there. There's only so many homes that they can actually visit. There's only so many enforcement officers, as they call them, who they're probably willing to actually employ. So what I'd like to see, if I get letters in the future, is if everybody non-complies with the BBC and TV licence, then what I would absolutely love to see is that figure actually goes up. In all parts of the country, including the area that I'm in, they knock on a door every 5 seconds, weekdays, in the evenings, and weekends. So basically what they're saying in this little bit here is that they'll knock on your door any time that they want to, and they'll do so without an invitation. How to stop a visit in my area? Buy a TV licence at tvlicensing.co.uk/pay, with payments starting from £6 a week. Or move an existing licence to your current address, or tell us you don't need one. This bit here, tell us that you don't need one. Basically, if you get anything from TV licensing or the BBC, the best course of action is just not to respond at all. And even if you do tell them and you do ring them up and you don't give them your name, they only stop sending you letters for 2 years, and then the letters will simply just start up again. For help with any of the above, please call the number or turn over for more information. If you do not do any of the above, you can expect a visit soon. So even if you don't communicate with this corporation, they're still going to send someone round. Yours faithfully, well, you know, it's a bit of a joke putting that. And then there was some made up individual's name. I think it's been established that, you know, you get these letters and there's a different name every time you get it. It's pretty much common knowledge, or it's been established that the people who sign these letters just simply don't exist. My best advice, simply from what we've looked at on the front of this letter, is just don't engage with them. If it has legal occupier, you're already doing something correct. Don't respond to the letters at all. Don't even put on the front of the letter, you know, not at this address. You know, don't put anything on there, just telling them to go take a flying leap. Just don't respond to the letters at all, and don't return the letters to them. So that was the first page. We'll go on to the second page now. Alright, so we're on the second page, and immediately, how to stop this enforcement visit. Again, the use of the word enforcement. They can't enforce you to do anything. You got to realise though that a lot of people are actually intimidated by these letters. They do comply with the letter, and then they get a TV license, and despite what they might believe in morally, that they don't want to interact at all with this corporation, simply by sending these threatening letters, it just makes people comply with it. It's something, if you are thinking about stopping to pay for a TV license and you're getting these letters, just don't let them worry you at all. They can't do anything. Just don't respond to them. Don't ring them up. Don't contact them, and don't send them a letter. And don't withdraw their implied rights of access. Make them simply think that there's nobody at the property to respond to the letters. That's simply the best thing to do. Part of peaceful non-compliance is not responding to an illegitimate, unlawful anything that comes your way. Anything that comes your way which is unlawful, illegitimate, would be morally, reprehensible to support, and actually unlawful to support. Because you've got to remember, funding and supporting are criminal activities, which is what the BBC are engaged in right now. Funding crime is a crime in itself, so it's actually morally correct and the right stance to take to not interact with these people in any way. Buy a new TV license, go to the website. You can pay £147 up front in one go, or spread the cost weekly, monthly, or every 3 months. So they're offering you to fund criminal activity in weekly sums, basically, is what they're saying. What we need to see, also, a figure that we need to see go up, is this. We need to see the cost of the TV license go up. And obviously, the people that do pay for a TV license, and it comes up in conversation and you say, oh, well, I don't pay for a TV license. The pre-programmed response, if you say that you don't pay for a TV license, will be, oh, well, so you're the reason why my TV license is so much then. Because again, with an illegitimate system like the BBC, they basically convince people that, it's publicly funded, so they answer to you, which they don't. They're telling you that by paying the TV license, and you're paying for, a neutral party who will look at both sides of an argument, and they'll present things to you, in the most fair way, and that by supporting them with the TV license, that you're not going to see advertising, which is ridiculous, because if you go on any BBC channel, you see an advert. Because the BBC is unfortunately seen as a British institution, it's part of being British. Having the BBC there to represent British society, which it hasn't done in many years. Also, about your TV license, again, like many things, they're saying that it's yours. Your TV license, your taxes. They're not yours at all. When do you need a TV license? These letters, they state many false things, and it's very contradictory. So we'll just, there's a couple of things in here to point out. When do you need a TV license? You must have one if you watch or record any live TV on any channel, or you download or watch BBC programmes on demand, including catch-up TV on BBC iPlayer. To be honest, one of the other reasons why I don't buy a TV license and don't watch television is because they don't actually produce anything of any value and of any interest. It's extremely biased. It's just propaganda for many different, agendas. It's not even very well produced. You need a license even if you access BBC iPlayer through another provider, such as Freeview, Sky, Virgin Media, BT, or Amazon. So a big thing to point out here is obviously that the BBC sell their content to other people. Freeview, Sky, Virgin Media, BT, or Amazon. It's all done under license, so they're not showing these BBC programs for free. The BBC aren't giving them to these outlets for free. Virgin Media, BT, Amazon, and the rest of them, they're all paying the BBC to host their shows. So that's a revenue stream, which should actually reduce the license fee, but it never ever does. This applies to all devices. So obviously, traditionally there was just the television that you could get the BBC through. And for a long time, this made getting people to buy a TV license very, very easy. But obviously, as the digital ages came about, you can access things over the internet. You can watch, they've got their own BBC iPlayer. And basically anybody with any device that's connected to the internet can watch the BBC. And for a long time, that was a way to get around having a license, because if it's broadcast over the internet, then it's not technically live. So it wasn't required to have a TV license to watch things on a computer. But obviously, they've decided to close that loophole. And at the end, obviously, this state, it's the law. Very threatening. It doesn't actually exist in English law at all that you need a TV license to do anything. What does live TV mean? Any program you watch or record at the same time as it's being shown on TV or live on an online TV service, such as the online TV services they list here. What does on demand mean? Any program you download or watch that is not being shown as live TV. And obviously that includes the BBC iPlayer, so they've closed that loophole. But this next bit is just absolutely ridiculous. So they're saying, you can get a concession if you are blind and can provide the appropriate evidence. Because you have to convince these people that you don't need it. They're just not satisfied until they barge into your home uninvited, mess around with your equipment without a warrant. They need to be convinced. And considering that they're saying that it's a criminal offence to watch live TV without a license, they also forget that in England, you're innocent until proven guilty. The onus is on them to prove that you were watching TV without a license. Not that it matters anyways, even if they did find you watching live TV without a license, because they couldn't do anything anyways. Because you'll see obviously videos online of people responding to these TV license goons, as they're called. Even by answering the door, you're putting yourself in a hole, you're digging yourself in a hole that you've then got to interact more with them to dig yourself out of it. So it's just, like I said, just don't interact with them at all. It says here, if you are blind and can provide the appropriate evidence, you are eligible to apply for a 50% concession. So even if you're blind and you're listening to the BBC, you've still got to pay them. Well, you don't, but they're saying that you do. If you're partially sighted, sight impaired, you are not eligible. So even if you're practically blind as a bat, even if the brightly coloured box that you're watching, hardly registers in your sight, but it just looks like some sort of, blur, they still want you to pay for a TV license. I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable, the sheer nerve. Like I said, peaceful non-compliance, the basis of it is not to comply with anything that's unlawful, anything that's morally reprehensible. And a big part of it is obviously not engaging with anyone or any corporation or indeed any government or body which is seen to be doing this activities. So I hope this has helped someone. I hope that if you're considering stopping buying a license, please do so. The sooner that you do it, not only do you save £147, which you could put into actually doing things that would benefit you in a much greater way than watching this trash stuff that they broadcast, that they regurgitate into people's homes through this brightly coloured box. You could spend that on many, many, many more important things, and then you could develop yourself more. You could get some preps in. You could just spend it on whatever you want. But also, you could just be very proud in the fact that you don't fund the what these people are involved in and what this company is doing. and then you can be more proud that you're making it. You can be proud that you're making it more difficult for them to conduct their business. And also one more thing that we've got to realize here, like I said, the BBC are outsourcing and selling a lot of their content, and they're actually doing this on a much bigger scale now, and that's all funded from people that are paying for the license. So really what we need to see is them cutting back. And also you've got to realize that they're broadcasting a lot of content which is in America now, it's in Canada, but they don't ask Americans to pay for a television license. They're broadcasting these things worldwide. Obviously, American television is a different funding model over there. It's all purely by advertising and other deals. But again, they threaten the British public with buying a TV license, but they don't threaten these people in the countries that are being broadcast the content in. Again, and that revenue stream from other countries is not reducing the television license. And I'm sure they're doing very, very well by putting their content abroad. I'm sure they're doing very, very well indeed, but it doesn't seem to reflect on the TV license. So again, like I said, peacefully non-comply with this or anything that you don't agree with. Be safe, be prepared. This is Geordie Prepper, and I'll see you in the next video.